Torres on the beat, boys.
We are going to make an empanada dough, and it's sort of going to be like a pie dough. Usually when I do pie dough, I do it with vodka. This time we're going to do it with vinegar, and the vinegar really helps from gluten forming so that it remains really flaky. So first we're going to sift some flour, just make it a little bit airier so the crust won't be as dense. That is 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, we're gonna get some cold butter in there. This is just 1 stick of butter. You want the chunks to remain almost pea size. So you can do this with your hands, or you can do it in a food processor if you have. I like doing it with my hands just so that I can feel the texture a little bit more. This butter is a little bit less cold than I would usually have it. Usually it would be right out of the freezer, which is probably the best way to do pie crust. That way it remains super flaky. This is a 1/3 cup of water with some ice in it, mixed with a tablespoon of vinegar. I'm just gonna go ahead, take that ice out, crack an egg in here. Then we're going to slowly pour this, and then work it until you get a dough that when you bring it together, it all sticks. So that's not quite ready. We obviously need more liquid. The goal here is to not overwork this, right? So don't overthink it, and just keep mixing until we have most of the dough sticking together.
Is this what life looks like? You know what I'm saying? Like,
literally. Okay, so right about here, we can grab some of the dough, squeeze it together, and it's sticking. So I think this is a good point to just go around the bowl, check if you have any particularly dry spots like that. You want to make sure you integrate that, because that's just going to end up kind of falling off your dough and making it crack later. A little bit of flour. Take this out. And just bring that bitch together. Remember, you're gonna push and stretch. You don't want to tear here. Okay, so I think right now I am good. It's feeling just moist enough that I feel like when I take it out of the refrigerator, it is going to be quite pliable, so it won't necessarily break when I'm rolling it out. I do want to just get this surface floured because it is a little bit sticky. So I'm just gonna roll this ball in the flour. We're gonna wrap this up in plastic. It's gonna go in the refrigerator for about an hour, and then we'll get our meat going, roll out our empanadas.
Yep, so we have some low-fat ground beef, and I'm gonna take that same sazon that I did for the chicken. Let that focus. Ooh, and we even have some delicious water from this mixture. I'm only gonna do literally a little bit. I'm gonna save that for later. And I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of, it already has garlic in there, so not a little bit, not a lot, dike a little bit. Dike a little bit, and a little bit of white pepper. I'm gonna be adding, when I actually cook the meat through, I'm gonna be adding olives, so that's why I'm not going too hard with seasoning, because for whatever reason that olive just takes it to a whole other salty place that it doesn't really need to be. So we're just gonna let that hang out while we start our 1-pan rice.
So the dough is fresh out the fridge. It's been in there for about, I don't know, an hour?
Yeah.
It's been in there for about an hour. Get a nice floured surface.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to cut this in half to be a little bit more manageable for me. Cover up your other half in plastic while you work. So be sure to keep this nice and floured up so that that butter isn't exposed, because then that's when it'll stick. To keep it nice and even, just keep flipping it from side to side so that you can get a more rectangular or circular shape, whatever you're aiming for. Now we don't necessarily have to worry about this being a pretty shape because we are cutting the empanada shapes into it. So what we really want to worry about is even thickness. This dough is like silky and smooth, and I think it's having a really nice time rolling out because of that vinegar that I put in there. Okay. Have a feel around to make sure it's even thickness. Okay. So I think we are ready to start cutting into this dough.
Oh no, they're the same size. I was gonna say the plastic ones are bigger, but they're not.
They're not. Ooh, baby.
Yes, it looks amazing. Yo nunca corso, dejo que todo fluya. Quieren mi vida y no pueden con la suya.
Ah, almost perfect.